Pop Culture Uncovered, and I know it's the moment you all waiting for. We're back!
Yay!
That's right, the lovely angels are back. So, ladies, I'm going to go to our ladies on the phone. Ivana, say hey.
Hello.
Hey. Oh, my bad.
And Britt and Ivana are saying hey at the same time.
You said everyone.
So, Ivana, give me a quick little background on who you are and why you're here.
Yes. So I work for the Murder Mystery Company. I love murder. I love being alive. And what I love about being alive is I can watch all these incredible movies and shows with fantastic people, and I can't wait to talk about all of them with all of you.
That's sweet. Awesome. And Britt, talk to me.
Hey, so I am getting back into the groove. You can find me as Karanai Kiva. I am a seamstress and artist that's located in Baltimore. I just do a lot of stuff, man.
Just do a lot of stuff, man. Just do a lot of stuff.
All right. I art, I sew, I go to cons, I have weird hair, I like to party, I like tea. There's a lot happening.
Fair enough. And we have our most delightfully aged wine of a lovely angel, Faith Gaskin.
Hello, this is the sensational 70, Faith Gaskin, and I'm the proud mother of the thespian here, Belle Burr. I'm also a skin consultant with the best skincare products in the world, Jafra, and the best hair care products for Gaskin Burr.
There you go. And Allie, hit me.
No, that would be mean.
Yes, it
would. I'm Allie, also Rogue Empress. I'm a cosplayer. I drink a lot and talk randomly. I'm scatterbrained, and I do stuff for Pop Culture Uncovered sometimes when they let me.
And you're also the host of the Walking Dead podcast and weekly viewing party. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and that'll be coming up next month.
And also myself, I'm here. Belle Burr, actor, writer, giant nerd. You can find me at Belle Burr on Twitter and Instagram. At Drop 3 for shows, which we will be doing a show for St. Patrick's Day. God help us all. And you can find me on stage with the Murder Mystery Company with Ivana, and in my one-woman show, A Woman Alone, with TikTok Mind. So, if you want to come out and see me perform for you, let me know. All right, so we are recording our Black History Month podcast. And we kind of want to just jump into it. So we're going to talk about Gordon Parks, who is not as well known as many people as he should be. He was an activist and artist from the 40s on, because he had his first child in 1944. So to give you an idea, he was working up until his death, I believe, in 2006. So, Mom, you were the one that picked Gordon for Black History Month. So why don't you start us off?
Well, the reason I picked Gordon Parks is basically his photography is phenomenal, not just in its artistry, but in the fact that it depicted what was going on in the
Great Depression.
Yeah, the Great Depression.
Yeah,
during the 30s. And his depiction of Jim Crow and what that, pictures speak louder than words about what was going on for African Americans at that time called coloreds in the South.
At that time, she says, at that time.
Yes, it should be at that time, but nonetheless, we're digressing.
Moving on.
Nonetheless, photographer. One of the pictures that he did was of a, and I wrote it down too.
Lily.
Thank you.
American Gothic.
American Gothic.
Mhm.
Where there was a charwoman and she's holding a mop and there's a broom in the background with the American flag in the background. And then he comes back later and he does more pictures of her and her family. They show, the depiction of the kind of hard work that women had to go through just to maintain their families. But that's not all he did.
Shut your mouth.
Shaq. He did the first Shaft
And the second.
and the second Shaft,
Yeah.
and recruited Richard Roundtree to be
Shaft. I honestly, until you brought him up, did not know. I knew who he was because I knew his photography. I never made the connection that the Gordon Parks, who was the first Black photojournalist for Life magazine, was the same Gordon Parks who directed Shaft. Like, there was no connection in my brain. And then I started reading his biography and I was just like, there's a lot there. It's almost overwhelming to see it. What about you guys?
That's so funny because it's the opposite for me because my dad has been such a huge Shaft fan that I knew him as the original director, but I didn't know for all the other things. And as I started to look through too, he really broke a lot of color barriers by being such a Renaissance man and seeing all the wonderful things that he's accomplished.
It's amazing. I didn't know he was the first Black Vogue photographer either, which is insane. Like, he went to Vogue, I think, came to him and was like, "You do photo shoots for me." And I'm just like, can you imagine in the 40s, Vogue coming to a Black man and going, "You're that good,
right?
You're that good. We need you." What about you, Alana?
I was overwhelmed by all the things he did because it seemed like, it seems like we all just are aware of him for like one thing or another, but this man, it's like, I'm sure people know him for like basketball and not his art at all because he was like on a touring basketball team.
I forgot about that part. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, he was a professional basketball player and a pro football player. And apparently he beat his team beat the Harlem Globetrotters. Like, yeah, I'm like, what is happening? How many different things did you do? It's so cool.
Really a Renaissance man, truly.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But also like, I was just kind of taken aback because there seemed like a lot of things in his life happened in the year 1928. There was just like this massive amount of disruption and opportunities and losses because he had been in like a segregated school up until 9th grade, and at this point he was integrating into an integrated high school, and then and that's around the time that his mother died, so he moved with his sister. He got a job as a waiter, and then around Christmas his brother-in-law kicks him out, so he was like sleeping and riding in train cars to stay warm while he was on break from school, and then also got a job at a brothel playing piano around this time as well. So I was like, what a year. And not even a full year. It seemed like a good chunk of this stuff that was intense happened like right at the end of the year. So it's I haven't had an end of the year like that. So I really wonder what that was like for him.
I mean, when you think about how old he must have been, because I was thinking like the brothel thing, I'm thinking, first of all, the difference in mindset. Who lets like an underage 13-year-old play the piano at a brothel? But work was work.
The 20s.
He was born like
the 20s did?
Yeah, for real. The 20s did. The 20s did. You can just explain it all. It was the 20s.
60. That's still pretty young.
He was very young.
Yeah.
And like you said, a whole lot of tragedy happened within like a 1 year time frame of awful. And yet the fact that he's still like, I don't know many of us, period, but especially at 16, who would go, I've been kicked out of my home. I have to work. I'm still trying to go to school. Let me take photos of what's going on around me so I can just kind of like see the beauty in the world. And the fact that all of this insane tragedy, because his mom did die that same year. So all of this same tragedy. And at 16, he goes, I'm going to try to see prettiness. I'm going to try to see the beauty. I don't know many people who would go through even a tenth of the things he went through at that age, much at any age, really, and who would turn around and use that to find art, to find beauty in their tragedy. What about you, Allie? What were you?
So, thank you, Baltimore County Schools. I've never heard of this man before until this evening.
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah, it's the darndest thing. And he is not related to Rosa Parks.
What?
Just so you know.
Yes. Was that something that you thought for a second?
I mean, I'm just helping out the white people right now because, I'm sorry I went to Baltimore County Schools, so we don't know a lot about this topic. But yeah, it seems like he had an amazing life. I know what Shaft is, so that's great. I just didn't realize.
Well, I mean, let's speak to that real quick because that is one of the things, and his one of the reasons why I wanted to include him is that his work has affected our culture, and a lot of people don't even know who he is.
Right.
But when I saw the photographs, I'm like, I have seen that photograph before. I've seen that photograph before. I didn't know that he wrote an entire ballet about Martin Luther King that's still being performed all over the world.
Oh, wow.
And it speaks to the erasure of Black people from the consciousness. And this man was around from the 1920s until 2006, and very few people outside of the Black community know who he is. And the ones in it, all of us, as we said earlier, all of us know him for one specific thing. We have no comprehension of his body of work until we started doing the research for this podcast. And that, I think, is like you said, it's not just Baltimore County.
Yeah, I know.
It's the country. I mean, it's people finding out about the Tulsa massacre on Watchmen all over again. We have erased Black culture and Black people from the culture in this country when we've contributed so much. So, maybe we should, I want to try to make sure that as we're going forward this year and doing more Lovely Angels podcast, I want to try to highlight people who maybe are unsung heroes. And I want to say thank you, Mom, for bringing him up, because had you not brought him up, I would have, like I said, I would have never made the connection from the photographer to Shaft or any of the stuff that he did in the many books he wrote. You can look him up at the Gordon Parks Foundation and .org, and there's several scholarships that have been set up in his name. His family has continued to keep his legacy of his artwork is around the country and around the world. There's artwork. There's a museum in Kansas. There's a museum in I want to say Minnesota. There's his stuff is at the Met. His stuff is at the Baltimore Museum of Art. So if you want to know more, look him up. And if you want more, just look deeper for things that might be out there, because we've always been here, but our culture has not always been, how do you say, respected.
Respected, right?
Yeah.
One more thing, if you ladies get an opportunity to get his book, The Learning Tree. It's a novel by Gordon Parks.
It's an autobiography, and it was his first film. He directed it. He turned it into a film. Yeah. So if you get a chance. Yep. So if you get a chance to read it, please do.
Yeah. That's what made him the first African-American writer and filmmaker, right?
That's the one. That was the first one that did it. That's what put him through.
Yep.